Chapter 3 of The Phantom of the Opera, entitled The Mysterious Reason. Here we are introduced to Firmin Richard, partner to Moncharmin, and he is a composer who has been known to have a bit of a temper. We're also introduced to the opera ghost proper, who appears at the gala wearing his death's head mask. There's wonderment as to who he is because there's rumors about the ghost. Then we have this person entering the gala in a mask, and they're trying to figure out if it's just some kind of a prank. However, this individual who appears to be the opera ghost has a seat with the new management and makes the claim that Bouquet's death was in fact a murder, and that sets off alarm. As the night moves forward, they move into the office, and the four managers, old and new, start talking about the opera ghost because it's obviously an issue that they have to discuss. Here we learn about the opera ghost, in essence, his demands. Two are general and two are specific. A, that you're to be pleasant to him. B, that you're to obey him. Then more specifically, C, you're to pay him money on a monthly basis. And D, you're to reserve box 5 for him at all cost on every performance night. And here the management, the new management, looking at the old management, take this all to be a ruse. It's a practical joke. Chapter 4, entitled Box 5. This is the beginning of a new time period in which it's the first week after the gala. We're introduced to Monsieur Remy, who is Richard's secretary, and we're introduced to Mademoiselle Giry, who is Meg's mother. We're back in the office. Here we have a letter from the opera ghost who is chiding Carlotta and Sorelli and Little Joms, but then he goes on to be a little more serious, and he takes note of the fact that he hasn't received the full payment yet. He's received a third of it from the old managers, but he hasn't received the rest of the money from the new managers. And in addition to that, he's taken note of the fact that they rented out box 5, which is the cardinal sin, to the opera ghost. However, he's being lenient and he hasn't taken action yet on this behavior. They call in Mademoiselle Giry to talk about the opera ghost, and she proceeds to tell them about the story of Isidore Saack and Maniera and his wife Julie, and how the opera ghost pointed out to Maniera as he was watching the play that Isidore was flirting with his wife. This is evidence that the ghost has appeared in the box. This is an older story though, but what she's doing is she's giving credibility to the ghost. The take here is one. In chapter 3, the narrator talks about mask, and that in Paris our lives are one mask ball, and that Parisians wear masks to cover up their sorrow and grief. So there's an ongoing theme and motif going throughout the Phantom of the Opera about mask, and that we cover ourselves so that we can get through life. It's kind of a coping mechanism. We also have the theme of skepticism again being introduced into the narrative, in that the new managers are laughing and they aren't taking the ghost seriously at all. Although in chapter 4, we do see that Richard is starting to get a little angry with the ghost behavior. This anger sort of plays into the next theme, which is the idea of respect versus criminal behavior. And what's happening here is that The ghost treats Mademoiselle Giry with respect. He gives her chocolate and he pays her. He treats her good because she acknowledges him with respect. So there's kind of a mutual sense of respect going on here. But by contrast, Richard is angry because the ghost is acting criminally. He's extorting them for money. And so this idea of illegal behavior puts tension on the idea of respect. Are we supposed to respect someone who breaks the law or not? So those are some of the themes and ideas that occur in these chapters, and we will visit chapters 5 and 6 in the next video.